Congratulations, you've already made it this far. Now to really get you going, I will show you two other components that are commonly used on display. One is a text box, so I want to have text fill in, could be a read-only text box, making it writable, and a drop-down box. It could be, again, just read-only. These are my possibilities, and I would like to translate it to something nice and readable on screen. And when I make it writable, I will have a nice drop-down list indicating what I can choose. So let's go to our code and use our snippets again. So this is all about displaying data. So again, I will go into params, display to param, and I'm going to call this 13. And my first example is a text box, so let's use a username as an example. So username, and let's call this name of the user. Let's remove the space. All right. Now, previously we have been using numeric text. So we've worked with numbers. Now we want to work with text itself. So could be anything. So that's why we're going to call this row type other, and the type will be string. So do not yet worry about what's the difference between row type and type. It should be just string, just text. This is used when working with serial communication, where you really need to define how your parameter, how your variable will be. It could be on bit side as well. For now, row type, anything that's other, type string, it's textual format. And on display, of course, I'm also going to show it as text. So that's where we come into string. Going to make it writable. So again, I'm going to use my generate write, make sure that I can set it and add it in there. I will need to add it on my page as well. So I'm going to use my data page, add the user in here, select the right, and there we go. Now, before I go and publish, I'm already going to add the second one, which was a drop-down list. So let's add a user state. Param display param 14 user state. Internally, it could be, again, numeric. 0 means I'm free, for instance, and 1 will be I'm in a meeting. But imagine it's not a number internally. Could be something I'm retrieving from an external data source or a database. So internally, it's going to be a text. Could be that free is actually an F, and in meeting is an M. So I will need to translate it. So let's also use other string, because internally it's text, and use discrete again. So we've used this before when we had configurable param, where we wanted to configure enabled, disabled for our logical flow. So we're going to pick and use the same steps, param, and then we go back to discrete. So on screen, I would like to show that I'm free, and internally it will be an F. It could be full text as well, all depending on what your data source is returning. So in my example, I'm just going to use F as free, and I'm going to update this to in meeting, and I will get an M, and let's add another one in call, and I will get a C. Now, it could be that the state is unknown. I don't know if I'm free or meeting or in a call. So let's add another possibility. Unknown. And this will be internally a U. So whenever I receive a U, I want to translate it on screen as unknown. When I get an F, I want to see free. Now, To test it, because I don't have a data source, I'm going to make this writable as well. Make sure I can set it so we can see changes on the screen. So I have that setter. In this case, my drop-down list will be composed out of these possibilities. I will need to put it on a page. So let's go back to the data page or the display page, and I will have my user state read write in here as well. Apply, publish, and let's have a look. So I have my username. Let's fill in my own name, Mieke, and I have a user status, which I can't just fill in anything. I will need to pick one of these. So let's pick I'm in a meeting, and there you go. We have some values already. Now we can fine-tune these params. Let's put some alarming on it. So when I'm in a meeting, I would like to see a nice alarming value. Same for I'm in a call. For instance, this could be a critical alarm. Let's go to our definition, display editor, and add alarming. And for this example, I'm going to add some default values in here as well. You don't have to put default values. You could add some values yourself in the alarm template, but I want to show you something exceptional. So normal, I'm going to add free. Free is normal for me. So let's put free. Now, this might make sense, but it's actually incorrect. We will be using the internal value, not the one that we're showing on screen. So whenever I'm getting the F value, that's when I want it to be a normal. When I get a M value, which is meeting, maybe I want to have a major. So let's put an M here, and I will get a critical high when I'm in a call. So these are my default values. It will not directly make an alarm, but this is what I expect to be a normal default. So normal, F, major high, M, critical, C. So we had another option here, which was unknown. I'm not aware of the status. I can't reach it. So maybe this is also a critical one. An extra critical, we just separate it with a semicolon, and we have the U. Now, unknown is actually an exceptional value. It's not really something I would expect to see, only in exceptional cases. Maybe I cannot connect to that data source who's keeping track of the availability. So I have 3 sets of normal. These are items I would expect to see, and I have 1 exceptional. So discrete list, this is my normal list. I expect these. So let's go and have a look for an exceptional thing. Internally, I would like to translate something, make an exception. So I have in my snippets exception tag. So I'm going to receive a U internally. So I'm going to receive a U value. I'm going to translate this on display as unknown. So it's not part of my normal list, and that's why it's not in my measurement. It's on a different place. And to continue to use this, I'm going to translate it to a value. So I can use the same value, which will make more sense because I'm receiving a U, which is readable and usable, and I'm going to continue it as U. But imagine that you get a very exceptional case, a very strange format, and you don't want to continue to use this very strange format. For instance, we get an error code, and it might be a very long one. I could continue to write numbers now. I don't want to use this value internally in my logic as well. I wanted to keep it simple. So I can translate it. This is my incoming data. I can translate it. Please, for DataMiner's sake, keep on using the U and not this very strange value. Now, common cases, you will be able to just keep on using the same one. So whatever you receive, that's what you're going to use in DataMiner as well. But it's possible, and that's why it's there. So my incoming value will be U. On display, I'm going to show it as unknown, same as we've done here. value will be U as well. So I can remove it from this normal list or the items I expect to see, and this is my exceptional component. Now, I still need to define it a little bit differently in my alarm, because this will link to my expected list, and this is an exceptional case. So I need DataMiner to be aware to look into this list as well, because I can have multiple exceptions. Let me show you by just copy pasting and new ID, and I could get X, and let's use X, and then just use X factor in here. So I have an exceptional case here. My state is X factor, and I get an X as a value. Well, again, I can have my $sign X. So from my exceptional list, that's the dollar, whenever you get the U, you will need to display unknown, but that's the one we're going to use in our alarm template as well. So in our alarm template, we're not going to see U, we're going to see the display value as well. Let me remove the X factor in here and then apply it. Let's have a quick look. We have a list of components. Of course, I kept it in my right for now. Normally, you will limit it for a user to select one of the common items, but because I don't have data source connected, still want to play around with it, I'm going to keep it in my list so I can set the U. Whenever this happens, I would like to see a grayed out. Why grayed out? Because it says state disabled. So let's publish, and I will need to update my alarm template manually because it already exists, and even when I redefine my default values, it will not override the one any person has already created. Let's have a look. When I select free, we still see free. When I select unknown, I see a grayed out unknown. Now let's edit our alarm template. Let's go to protocol template, view the alarm template. Now I don't see my added alarm yet because this view shows all of the monitored params. So this is my current alarm template. So let's hit the all protocol parameters, and now I can see I have my user state and it's excluded currently. So let's hit this button, and now it's included, and I can see my default values in here as well. Let's click on my critical, and you can see that two of these items have been selected. It's in call and my exceptional value unknown. Although my exceptional value is not in that discrete list, it's an exception. It's still in the same dropdown. Now let's apply this, and let's go back to the element, and you can see my user state, it's already indicating a critical alarm. Why? Because it's unknown. And let's set this back to free. There you go, it's back to normal. In call, also critical alarm. It's there, it's nice and readable. Set it back to unknown, still critical alarm, but nicely showed grayed out. This is a small fine tune that we can do, but it can have a major impact on user experience. It makes sense to limit or to actually show an exceptional value when, for instance, this is not part of the common values. Remember, in my example, I've kept the unknown, but in normal cases, you will not have the unknown value as a selectable component. You will leave it out from your writable list and only keep this as the normal values. These are the acceptable values. And if for some reason I would get an exceptional value, I'm not just going to show it. I want to pay or make your attention to it. I want to grab your attention, and I'm going to show it grayed out. Go ahead, play around with your numeric values, numbers, play around with text, and play around with exceptional values as well.